Hey, that's me. Welcome to my amazing and wonderful guide on beating Remnant from the Ashes' final boss, known as Nightmare. My ultimate goal with this guide is to help people learn how to beat the fight, while my secondary goal is to hopefully get some people to give me money. Let's begin by going over how exactly you should prepare for the fight. The first thing you want to do is buy yourself an item called the ammo box. And when I say buy an ammo box, I mean buy a shitload of them. Go crazy. You can never have too many. You can purchase the ammo box from an NPC named Reggie in the ward. If you look at him closely, he sort of resembles Morgan Freeman. The two weapon mods that I very strongly recommend using for this fight are Mender's Aura and Hotshot. The Mender's Aura mod makes getting sent to the Dark Zone in Phase 2 extremely easy, and it's still very effective even if you have no points in health regeneration traits or any health regeneration items. The next mod that I strongly recommend is the Hotshot mod. The reason this mod is so great for this fight is because the damage scaling in the Dark Zone applies to the elemental burn effect when you apply it on the boss. In terms of placing your weapon mods, I recommend putting your Hotshot mod on whichever weapon has more bullets in a clip. For me, I use it on the starting repeater pistol that you get at the beginning of the game. Put your Mender's Aura on the other weapon. I personally choose to use the coach gun for this because not only does it deal a shit ton of damage to the first phase of the boss and make it fairly quick, it simultaneously maxes out the charge for Mender's Aura. In terms of weapon and armor upgrades, basically as long as the most recent regular enemies have died fairly quickly and not one-shot you, you're probably upgraded enough for the final fight. Now that we've got the preparation out of the way, let's talk about what the hell you're supposed to do. The fight begins when you encounter a typical Fortnite fan laying in a hospital bed. First phase is very straightforward and I don't think needs to be covered very much in this guide. You basically can spam dodge whenever you see an attack coming your way, and just have to DPS the boss and handle some adds in between. It's worth noting that his Fortnite-shaped helmet is actually his weak spot, and that's what you should be aiming for to do the most damage in this phase. Try to make sure that you charge up both of your weapon mods during this phase before fully depleting his health bar and transitioning to phase 2. And that begins a very nice unskippable cutscene that you have to wait for to start phase 2. This can be quite an interesting transition when the game bugs out and allows somebody to randomly run around while others are frozen in place watching. When phase 2 starts, it's important to remember that you don't actually have to run around or shoot at the boss until he tries to hit you with a fireball attack or send somebody into the Dark World. I recommend staying a bit away from the boss during this phase and mostly avoiding that fireball attack by running sideways, because when you try to dodge roll through the fireballs at a closer range, it can be very inconsistent. Eventually, after the boss performs a few fireball attacks, he will summon somebody, seemingly at random, into the Dark World. It's important to note that once you're summoned to the Dark World, your health will start constantly draining until you leave. Mender's Aura is extremely helpful here, and you can place it down right after you enter to combat the negative health drain. And this is important because before you leave the Dark World, you want to make sure you kill somewhere between 8 to 10 enemies. The reason you want to kill enemies in here is because each enemy that you kill gives you a stacking damage bonus against the boss when you return to the Light World. As I get closer to killing 8 to 10 enemies, I check my ammo, and if it's low, I use an ammo box followed by a heal before going back through the portal. It's important to note that sometimes this red portal may appear very late or sometimes not appear at all. If this happens to you, it means you're experiencing one of the many bugs in this fight that somehow got past quality assurance. Anyways, once you've achieved 8 to 10 stacks of damage and you have good enough ammo and health, go back through the portal and get ready to DPS the living shit out of the boss. Once you're back to the portal, you want to immediately activate the Hotshot mod and start going ham on the boss with damage. Your job after returning from the Dark World is just to non-stop damage the boss and only stop for avoiding the fireball attack, which will be targeted at you once you start doing damage. If you deal enough damage and you're successful, you'll notice that the boss just suddenly explodes like a shield broke, and your damage stacking buff will disappear. When this happens, both you and your teammates, even the ones that have not been to the Dark World, should be shooting the hell out of the now exposed Fortnite player weak spot on the boss, you'll notice that you do extreme damage even without the buff. After a short amount of time, this bonus window will expire and the boss will return to having super ultra high defense. If you do this efficiently, you should be able to take out a huge chunk of the boss's health and be able to kill him when you do this again one more time. Once you defeat the boss and see the really weird, confusing ending, pat yourself in the back. You've done it, and beaten Remnant. That's it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Unlike those other YouTubers, I'll never ask you guys to like, subscribe, or follow me on other social media. See you next time.